it's so great at this time of year, isn't it? I'm Kate, and I'm from the University of Tasmania. For those who've been admiring my haircut, no, I'm not unwell, and I'm not queer. I'm a marine biologist. I know it's really glamorous, but I keep it like this for practical reasons only. It doesn't get tangled underwater, and I don't need anyone to hold it back when I'm throwing up off the side of a boat. Shave it off and you're good to go. I can see you thinking, Hobart, that's a great place for a marine biologist. I bet you love diving into that icy water every day. Well, it's all about the neoprene, friends. My wetsuit's 2 centimetres thick and takes me at least 20 minutes to put on, with help. You've probably all, maybe some of you at some point, had the threat of sea lice when you're about to jump in the ocean, and you imagined a savage marine version of head lice that get into your budgie smugglers and make you itchy. I actually work on what you might think of as sea lice, and I'm here to tell you that they've got a branding problem. I've been thinking I need to employ a marketing team or something for them, because the term sea lice makes people's skin crawl. Sorry, that's my kid. Just bear with me while I gather my thoughts here. That's okay.
You are funny, Kate.
Thanks. Okay, term sea lice makes people's skin crawl. You're probably thinking, oh gee, she works on sea lice. Gross. I bet that's really why she's got a shaved head. But you know what? They don't go for your head hair. No, they're not even lice. They're not interested in humans and they don't bite. They're actually really pretty. Like the catwalk models of the sea. Look at the outfit on this guy. New York Fashion Week, here we come. I don't call these little beauties lice, though. I call them epifaunal invertebrates. It's a bit of a mouthful, so I'll break it down. Epi means upon. Fauna means animals. So epifauna are animals that live on something else, kind of like that toddler that lives attached to my leg. But these guys don't ask as many questions. Many of you will be familiar with the term invertebrates, but for those who aren't, invertebrates are animals without a backbone, much like your least favourite politician. So, my epifaunal invertebrates, previously known as sea lice, are tiny critters, less than a millimetre in size, without backbones, living on seaweeds and on corals. Tonight we'll do away with the jargon and we'll just call them fish food, because that's what they are and that's why they're so important. They're the base food in all our reef food webs. Fish eat them, and you know who eats fish? Bigger fish. And who eats the bigger fish? We do. The seaweeds and the coral reefs that fish food live on are struggling with climate change and warming oceans. So, are the fish food dying as the reefs change and die? To work this out, I went to see what fish food live on healthy reefs and what fish food live on dead and dying reefs. I started off in Tassie because I live here and there are plenty of reefs and fish food here. But despite that very thick wetsuit, diving in Tassie is like working in the cold room out the back of Woolies, but you're wet all the time. This is an actual photo of me diving in Tassie. So I found some money and I went to look at fish food on coral reefs instead. Because they're so tiny, fish food are impossible to see in the field. So to look at them, I grab pieces of their habitat and I pop it in sandwich bags, which I take back to the lab. If I'm looking at fish food on habitat that I can't put into a sandwich bag, something I can't pick up, like encrusting coral, I use this unwieldy but effective vacuum sampler. that I made all by myself using specialised marine biology tools, zip ties and duct tape. It's low tech, it sucks the fish food straight into a bag, and it hasn't killed me yet. It works by pumping air from another scuba tank through a piece of PVC pipe. You know, I thought vacuuming the house was hard work, but vacuuming the sea floor is like wrestling a giant moray eel that's trying to drag me to the surface. So I get my fish food back to the lab, and then comes the really tedious part. For all that glorious tropical diving, I spend most of my time in the lab. Years, in fact. This is a photo of me when I started this research. In the lab, I sort through dishes of tiny animals under a microscope, counting, identifying, and measuring millions of them. Once I have all these data together, I do some fancy maths. Not simple, everyday maths like this. No, fancy race day maths. And when I looked at live coral and dead coral, what I found was really surprising. I found there was way more fish food on dead coral than on healthy coral. When coral dies, seaweed or algae grow on the coral skeletons in time, and there are way more fish food living in this seaweed than on live coral. So the question is, do we kill all the coral? That's a terrible idea. But this information tells us that we can begin to predict fish populations based on what we know about fish food and dead coral. If there's a mass bleaching event, will it wipe out the entire ecosystem? Oh no, I don't mean mass bleaching like Eminem in the 90s. I mean mass coral bleaching. It might not kill everything. It'll cause massive changes, but life will persist, a bit like Eminem persisted. Seaweed will grow on the dead coral, and fish food will boom. So we need information about these tiny fish food critters to more accurately predict what might happen in the future. Obviously, it's really complicated and this isn't the whole picture, but it does give us a better sense of what might happen. So, next time you see a woman with a shaved head, don't go thinking chemotherapy or queer. Think marine biology and sea lice. And together we can work on rebranding these important little fashion models.